All right, let's talk today about the Atlantean City's one fatal flaw. Now, consider when you look at all the structures standing of ancient civilizations around the world. Let's take, for instance, ancient Egypt. When I say ancient Egypt, what is the first thing that comes to mind? For most people, they imagine the pyramids and all the amazing stone monuments. If I asked you what was something the ancient Egypts were great at, most people would say they were amazing at stone masonry and monument building. And of course, this is true, but it's not a whole truth. And if I showed you this picture, now what? Probably something similar to, oh, yes, that is ancient Egypt also, but that is a rare exception. Consider now all the structures of ancient India, the ancient Far East, ancient Persia, ancient Greece combined with ancient Egypt. Most people would come up with a similar thought: amazing standing stone structures. In reality, all these temples, community centers, government and royalty locations were adorned with precious metals and valuable crystals. If you're a student of history, you know, many of these cities, cultures, and kingdoms were pillaged and repillaged by invading armies and greedy kings over the many years. Egypt, in its many wars and civil uprisings, would also be sacked by Alexander the Great and, of course, Rome's Octavius. Much of the spoils of the lands would go to pay the armies, and the gold melted down to add to the victor's coffers. As to the victor goes the spoils of war. Consider also what happened in Central and South America. The Spanish greed for gold would lay waste to the temples of the Aztecs, Mayans, and Incans. So today, all you see is a stone skeleton of once beautiful and powerful structures, adorned with precious metals and crystals. One looking at the ruins of Central South America today would say, wow, amazing stonework. But of course, the metals have long been removed. And this would continue as late as the 20th century, with England looting countless Indian treasures from their temples and community centers. Some of these treasures would even go into the royal family of England's own jewelry pieces. So that's how I see it. Understanding the lust for gold and precious metals, let's discuss the real issue with sunken Atlantean cities and why none have been released to the public. Edgar Cayce implies these cities are loaded with gold. From the Gobi Desert to the Bahamian Islands, the cities of Atlanteans use gold for a great many uses. Of course, from their monuments to the energy sources, community centers, or temples, an Atlantean city unplundered is going to contain vast amounts of precious metals and precious jewels. Think back to Herodotus, the ancient Greek historian, providing details of various temples and their contents in his work, The Histories. One notable example in his account of the temple of Melgart in Tyre, where he mentions seeing two pillars, one made of pure gold and another of emerald that could even be seen at night. Now imagine for a moment if a large underwater city is discovered, let's say 200 miles from Bahamas or the Azores. Many nations will want to claim on the precious metals. In my opinion, there is no way they would release this information to the public, and they are not waiting for some international court's decision. They are going to discreetly loot it of all valuable content before any other nation can. Finders keepers is kind of my view of it as far as if something is found outside of a country's economic zone. Consider the only unlooted tomb from the Valley of the Kings in Egypt that was ever found. And to date, I believe there's over 60 known burial locations within the valley, with the vast majority having already been looted. But this one small location of Tutankhamun's tomb turned out to hold hundreds of kilograms of gold. I mean, can you imagine how much gold Egypt would have accrued over its countless years before it was sacked by multiple invaders? Nations' lust for gold will never vanish, and in my opinion, the only remains of an Atlantean city the public will ever see is the standing stone skeletons after all the precious metals have been removed. People will again say, well, those Atlanteans were great at stonemasonry. So the fatal flaw of Atlantean cities, in my opinion, are their vast amounts of precious metals. This will ever keep them out of the public eyes and their locations never disclosed. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Feel free to share your thoughts and comments below. Also, as I mentioned Edgar Casey, please check out his work at the link below. Love and light to you.